everydaytaichi. Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at your waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, see if you can point out that chin. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful, shift your weight to the left foot, good Tai Chi posture, dropping those shoulders. Kick your right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kick your butt. 1, 2, 3, shift your weight. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Watch how I'm doing it and do it. Sway your whole body. Put your whole body into the turning of the knees. Not just concentrate on your knees. Don't isolate it, okay? 8, 9, 10. Heisman, opening up your span, parallel feet. Choose the right side, okay? Cross and sit on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cross and shift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cross and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, all right. Golden cockerel, okay? Golden cockerel requires good Tai Chi posture, dropping of the shoulders. Do it now. Middle finger to the side seam of your pants, hollowing slightly out of your chest so that your butt is tucked under you rather than straight up. Your head is erect. Your chin is slightly dipped down rather than parallel to the ground. So dip it down a little bit, but your glance is way out into infinity all the time. Posture is that way all the time, okay? When you shift your weight, remember that everything goes with you. Your center moves with you, but in a straight vertical way. 2 inches below your navel is your danten, your point of gravity. That moves with you, but if you dip forward or dip backwards, your center of gravity is now changed. So you want to keep that center of gravity straight up like this, okay? We also learned that in golden cockerel, we use spirals, but we also shift our weight. We also use counterbalances where one hand comes up, the other hand goes down, pushes down, pulls up, pushes down, pulls up. Okay, let's try all of those elements and put them together in a soft way. We're at 50-50, spiral with the left, shift the weight to the left, push down, pull up. Down 50-50, shift weight to the right, push down, pull up. Think through the process. There's no rush. Last one, last set. Center that front hand, center the front foot. Counterbalance the right. Okay? In kicking out now, we're at 50-50. We're going to shift to the left. When we shift to the left, it allows our right foot to come out on an angle and our right hand to follow that kick. And the other hand counters rather than comes forward. Okay, so we're at 50-50. We don't need a wide span, but we do need a comfortable one. Here we go. Gather the energy, spiral, shift the weight, right hand on the outside, right foot coming up, kick out right. Shift the weight, left hand, left foot up and out. One more set. Okay. Holding our ball. Okay. We're going to root down on the right. We're going to create a T stance. Actually, let's just do without hands first, okay? T stance. Okay, going over our feet alignment. T stance, storing the energy. The energy has to come through the system to get out to a bow stance. But first we have to get into an L stance. On an L stance, all it means is to come out and to the side. Out and to the side, show me with your hand. Out and to the side. But in one motion, on your heel of your left, it belongs here. Where? Here. Okay? But the energy now stays with your back foot until I tell you, okay? T stance, L stance. Now, move the energy through the system all the way up and all the way down to the tips of your toes. Bow stance, bow and arrow. Don't lock in the back knee. Don't go beyond the knee of the toes of your, don't put your knee beyond your toes of your front. Sit back and sit down. Pivot, root down on the left, capital T. Out and to the side, L. Move the energy all the way through their system. Place it down firmly. Bow stance. Sit back and sit down. Pivot. Root down and obey gravity on the right. T stance. Take an L. Move that energy through the system. Turn your hips and waist. Bow stance. Sit back. Sit down. Pivot. Firm down or root down or ground down on a T stance. Out on an L. Move the energy, turn the hips and waist, firm down, bow stance. Okay, sit down, sit back, sit down, twist step. Then we're gonna add our hands. Left hand 2 inches below your navel, T stance. Right hand about chest level, bring your elbows in. Okay, here we go. T stance, L. Move the energy, bottom hand advances to go up the horse's mane. Bow stance. Sit back and sit down. Twist step. T stance, center with a ball. Right foot ready to go, bottom hand is right. Here we go. Step out on an L. Move the energy from the back all the way to the tips of the finger. Bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. T stance, L stance, move that energy, bottom hand advances, bow stance. Sit back and sit down, twist step, T stance, holding your ball for centering, L stance, turn the hips and waist, move the energy out to the tips of your finger, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back and sit down. Twist step, T stance. Okay, you stored enough energy. Now we're going to do an L. Move that energy up and through your system, out to the tips of your finger, bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, T stance. Store that energy, L. Move the energy, bottom hand advances, turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back and sit down and pause at holding your ball on a T stance. Then we went on to learn a multitasking, more fun, but a little bit more challenging movement where we were on a T because it dictates us, T, L, bow. But in this situation, we're not parting the wild horse's mane, but we're doing a brush knee. In a brush knee, we have one hand that's higher and one hand that's lower. The lower hand, the fingers point to your shoulder, whereas the other one is like it's catching a ball coming across this way. And we're on a T stance, and we're gonna do this, but 3 things happen. So I shouldn't be up this way. I should be storing the energy, because if I'm up this way, I have 2 weighted feet, but I want to sink down and obey gravity to allow the one foot to be weightless to advance, okay? So I'm like this, and I'm in a T, and the feet alignment dictates that I'm going to go into an L stance. So here I go into an L stance, but 3 things happen. The top hand comes to the ear, The bottom hand comes down. Here it goes 3. Then I'm going to what? Move the energy, turn my hips and waist, and I'm going to brush my knee. Sit back, and I'm going to sit down because that's what the choreograph says. Twist step, rooting down to store the energy. On a T, I have it set up correctly. One hand higher, one hand to the shoulder. When I'm ready to move, I do 3 things. Ear, hand, and heel. Then what? How do I get out to a bow stance? I move the energy from the back, I turn my hips and waist, my hands go for the ride. Okay? Let's see if we can do that now, okay? So, here we go. Setting up our foot, right foot straight away or parallel to the line, left foot weightless on a stem of a T, left hand to the shoulder, right hand up higher. And am I this way? No. I'm pretty much squared, sort of, slight angle to my right foot. I'm not totally this way, but I'm slightly turned towards the left, but not turned this way and prematurely, neither turn to the side this way. Okay? So gently, slightly to glance at that top hand. Right hand is higher. Its fingers are probably above your head. The left hand doesn't sit onto your chest, but almost as if it's parallel to the chest, equidistance away, with the fingertips on the shoulder, pointing towards the shoulder. We want to warm up one thing. The top hand comes to the head. How? Top hand comes to the head. Hey, that's easy. All you do is use your core and bring it in. You don't just concentrate on your arm, okay? Use your core, bring it in. That's more powerful. Then the second thing that happens is that the left hand just drops down. How does it drop down? There. It doesn't do any curving, it just drops down all together. Ear and hand, out, ear and hand. But that makes us want to do something else. We can't just stay here and do this. We have to set it up. We have to bring out our left heel. Here we go, on an L stance. Ear, hand down, heel. Now what? How are we going to brush our knee? Move the energy, turn the hips and waist. Hands just get there by themselves. Sit back and sit down. Twist step. Root down for gravity. T stance. Left hand higher, right hand to your shoulder. Warm it up. First the ear, ear and hand, ear and hand. 3 things, here we go. Ear, hand, and heel. Move the energy, turn the hips and waist, swing that hip, bow stance, brush knee. Sit back and sit down. Twist step, root down, right hand higher, left hand to the shoulder, T stance. Actually, this stance helps us to center. It's almost like holding the ball. We're centered. Now we can move 3 things at a time. Ear, hand, and heel. Now what? Move the energy, turn the hips and waist, power through the front, brush your knee. Sit back and sit down. Twist step, root down for gravity. T stance. All together, ear and hand and heel. Turn the hips and waist, move the energy to the tips of your finger. Sit back and sit down. Twist step. T stance. L stance. Bow stance. Then take a peek at me. Am I obeying my Tai Chi posture? Am I chasing after my front hand or am I straight up? Everybody should be straight up. Pointing finger should be like your backbone, okay? Sit back and sit down. Twist step. T stance. L stance. Turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back and sit down. Twist step. T stance. this one we have to do everything together. Let's try. Ear and hand and heel. Now what? Turn the hips and waist, move that energy, spin that hips all the way across to square with that left foot. So both hips are square to the left foot. Then look at your knee, your front knee and your toe. Are they lined up, or is your knee kind of gravitating beyond your knee? If it is, you don't have Tai Chi posture, so you're going to have to pull that knee back. Okay? Sit back and sit down. Twist step, root down, T stance. All together. Ear, hand goes down, heel goes out. Energy is moved. Turn the hips and waist, bow stance. So the more energy or the more you have in the turn of your hips and waist, the better can you brush your knee, okay? Root down, T stance, all together. Turn the hips and waist, flatten down, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist, step, shift your weight, T stance. All together, ear, hand down, heel down, turn hips and waist, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step. Right hand higher, left hand to your shoulder, all together, ear, hand and heel. What? Turn hips and waist, move that energy, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist step, T stance, L stance, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist step, hold your ball on a T stance. Okay? Okay, your turn to watch, okay? Look for something that perhaps you can incorporate, okay? I'm gonna turn this way so that you have that same orientation. Okay, I'm going to give you a front view now. I'm not going to say too much because you're doing a lot of absorbing, and also thinking through the process. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to put some words to it. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, root down. Set it up correctly. Multitask. Move the energy. Turn the hips and waist fully. Therefore, the hand, brush the knee. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, root down. Set it up correctly. Multitask, turn hips and waist, move that energy, fully turn. Okay, ready to try it after I do one more set, and you pick up those last bits of information that you want to teach yourselves how to do. Okay?
because most of you are new. What Lucille just did was try to introduce you to the language and the words, the key words that she uses. So you may not be able to hear her see her at times, but if you hear and you know the meaning of it, that helps you, gives you a cue, hopefully, on what you should be doing. And she's amazing. It's like a square dance caller. She knows the words to use, and she has her language, and it's for you, if you continue here, to learn that language to your advantage in terms of learning how to do the physical movements.
Okay, ready for the calls? We're going to square dance. All right. So, setting it up correctly. T stance. Left hand to the shoulder, right hand up higher. We're going to do this, but we're also going to do this, right? But we're not straight-legged, right? We want to root down, because if you're straight-legged, you're going to stumble when you have two weighted feet. You don't know, your body does not know which is the weightless foot. So we're going to need to store the energy by flexing on that right or back knee or leg, setting it up. Multitask, turn the hips and waist, move the energy, swing it all the way over to brush your knee. Sit back and sit down, twist, step, root down to store energy, T stance. All together, L stance, turn the hips and waist, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, twist, step, root down, set up the hand. Multitask, turn the hips and waist, firm down, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, twist, step, T stand, set it up. All together, turn hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist, step. Right hand higher, T stance. L stance, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist, step, root down, T stance. L stance, turn hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist, step, hold your ball. Hold your ball, okay? And root down, okay? You should feel very, very relaxed at this point, okay? Nothing is raised. Everything is sinking down, obeying gravity. This is Tai Chi, okay? So you feel your legs, maybe your knees, maybe your upper body a little bit, feeling a bit of warmth and maybe a little stress, but that's the good stuff, okay? So can you see that your body is nice and warmed up? It knows what gravity is. It's giving you that safety valve. And then you can move safely. Simple, okay? But we have to train our body. All right, we're going to leave this fun but challenging movement, and we're going to see how it integrates into Tai Chi in the 10 form. So what does that mean? We're going to string it along and put it where it belongs, and at the same time reintroduce the first few movements, if not the majority of the movements, okay? Getting used to the sequencing of Yang 10 form, okay? So good Tai Chi posture, we're going to commence, and in all Yang style Tai Chi, the commencing is the same, pretty much, okay? Your good Tai Chi posture, dropping the shoulder, tucking the butt, hollowing the chest, chin slightly down, glance out into infinity, good thoughts going on in your mind, tongue on your palate, head straight up, 50-50. Slowly put the weight on your right, 60, 70, 80, allows that left heel to come up, 90, 100 open, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Hands rotate, take a deep breath in as we elevate and draw up the water using our core. Shoulder level, reverse the process. How? Tuck the elbow, drop the shoulders, flex the knee, push down that water. Left hand in the center, right hand rises up higher. Open the palms to the ceiling. Watch the back or right hand come to the ear. Turn your head and neck as both hands meet in the center. And how are we going to repulse the monkey? Push him away and drag him down. Center the right. Look at the left, that's higher. Open the palms to the ceiling. Bring the back hand or left hand to the ear. Turn the head and neck, meet the hands in the middle, and repulse the monkey. Here we go. We're going to brush our knee. How? T stance, parallel and higher. Do you look like me? We just warmed this one up. We're in a T stance. Now we're going to get into an L stance. All together. Ear, drop the hand, put out the heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back and sit down. Twist, step, root down, store the energy, set it up correctly. All together. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn hips and waist, brush your knee. Good. Sit back, sit down. Twist, step. We're going to hold our ball on a T stance. We're going to part the wild horse's mane. Step out on an L. Move the energy. Bottom hand advances. Turn the hips and waist. Go up the horse's mane. Sit back, sit down. Twist, step. T stance with the ball. L stance. Move the energy, bottom hand advances, turn the hips and waist, part the wild horse's mane. Refreshing our memory we're at 3 o'clock, so that gives us a cue that we're in cloud hands. Flip the forward hand so you no longer see the palm. Join it with the back hand where you can see the palm. The hands are staggered. You're in a good Tai Chi posture, you're in a bow stance. You're going to sit back and sit down. Twist, step. What happens? The hands went to about 12 o'clock when we twisted. We didn't move our hands. To get out to the 9 o'clock, we're going to have to pivot on our left heel and move our hips and waist. Our hips and waist are the drivers of our body, drivers of our motion. What are we going to do? Pivot on the left heel, turn the hips and waist. There goes 9 o'clock. 2 things happen. What? Flip the hand, close the feet. 12 o'clock, stem and a cup. Turn the hips and waist out to 3 o'clock. What? 2 things happen. Flip the hands, open the feet. Coming to 12, we're about 50-50 in our distribution of weight. Turn the hips and waist to 9 o'clock. What? 1 thing happens. Only flip the hands. Move the hips and waist to 12. Move the hips and waist to 3. 2 things happen. Flip the hands. Close the feet. 12 o'clock. 9 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip the hands. Open the feet. At 3 o'clock, only 1 thing happens, flip the hands. But at 12 o'clock, we shift our weight to the left and allow our right foot to be weightless and come up as a golden cockerel. Shift the weight to the right and come up as a golden cockerel. Down, shift the weight to the right. Right hand on the outside, right foot coming up, kick out, right, down, shift weight to the right, left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, kick out, left. Holding our ball on a T-stance, right hand on the bottom, right foot ready to go. Remember, we're going to have to ward off. We have to put some martial arts in there, okay? So T-stance. Step out on an L, Bottom hand advances, you forearm your opponent, you push him out. You just need that space that he can't come to. Turn the hips and waist, reposition the hands, palm to palm, but staggered. You're going to grasp the bird's tail by sitting back, sitting down, turning at the hips and waist, contacting at your wrist, turn the hips and waist, center of the body, push the energy through, separate the energy and roll back and sit down. Spiral up and lunge forward. Other side, sit back, sit down, twist, step. T, stance, holding your ball. What are we going to do? Forearm our opponent. Here we go. Step out on an L, turn the hips and waist, bottom hand advances, push him out. Turn your hips and waist, reposition your hands, sit down, sit back, turn at your hips and waist to look back, contact, turn at the hips and waist, center of the body, push the energy through, separate your hands, roll back, sit down, store the energy so you can power him up and push him out. Closing form, sit back, sit down, twist with the left heel, pivot on the right heel to open, pivot on the right heel to close, embrace the tiger, put the right hand inside the cross, weight down heavily on the left so you can move your right, turn at your wrists so that your palms are facing you at shoulder level. Bring the tiger closer to you slightly to get that momentum to push him out using the force of your core and your wrists. Drop your shoulders, flex your knees, tuck your elbows, put it to the thigh, left heel comes up, off the ground, toe down, arch down, closing form. Okay? How was that? A lot of work or fun? How many say fun? How many say a lot of work? Yeah, a lot of work makes fun, right? So I think you can see that this is only our 5th week, but we've somehow put 10 movements to a well-organized, well-choreographed Yang 10 form, and it's sure rough. It's rough in that there are a lot of little edges that need to be polished up and refined, but hey, that's the beginning of Tai Chi, right? I think over the 5 weeks, you've intook a lot of knowledge, perhaps learned something more about your body that, you know, it's pretty old that we have. I'm speaking for myself, but, you know, over time, you can maybe gain back some of that flexibility that we once had when we were young. And how do you do that? Learning more about your body and what it can do, and doing some of the routine over and over again. Over the space of time, I know that probably you've gotten a little bit more muscle strength. Perhaps you've learned to form your footing or your stance a little bit more safely, maybe not consciously doing it, but some of that is conscious, but other times it's just because you've been working at it a little bit more that you realize, yeah, it's only the weightless foot then that can advance. And once this guy is grounded out, then the other one can take its chance, okay? All right.
You folks are getting a lot of things pushed at you, and I'm going to put a little bit more, but I want to just go down to a little bit of basics. I want everybody to just stand the way they are. Feel what your legs are doing, what your body's doing. And the next thing I want you to do is bend your knees. Go back up. Bend your knees. The next time you go we're going to come up here. The next time you go down, I want you to feel what happens to the amount of pressure, if you will, down to the lower parts of your legs. Right now, everything is sort of just nice, stretched and rigid, and you're just standing on sticks. And you don't get the feeling, maybe as much as you will, that you're touching the ground. But when you drop down, what happens? You get more of an attention in your mind that my feet are in contact, and I am, one, becoming more stable, but the pressure is on my feet, and I become more aware of your feet. That's why we want you in Tai Chi to not be straight-legged and watch Lucille and stay there. And when you're ready to go, then you're ready. And only when you finally do this, you come down. When you're standing in normal Tai Chi posture, hopefully you learn just a little looseness in the knee, not locked. The knees are not locked. That already gives you a feeling of contact to the ground. And although, another thing added to that, although we do a lot of moving of the tips or our ankles, and we're doing some of this, we do some of this, almost invariably, the back foot never does this. Okay? From a martial arts standpoint, you're going to be out of balance. And where is the weight? The weight is on this foot. And your opponent grabs you and says, come along. You're just going to keep going. Versus, if both feet are on the ground and the guy grabs you, and you're down here, if you sit down even more, it's going to take a lot more work for him to move you. By the same token, if you're walking along and you say, I'm going to go and tiptoe here in your everyday work, because I'm just going to grab one of these things. Nobody's going to pull you, but gravity is going to take you and you're going to fall. Okay? So that's another one. And the third thing, I sort of make it a joke, but in Tai Chi, no parts of your body is unemployed. In a given movement, all of them are employed. And related to that, when you first begin, the term is brush knee. But what do you see? You see this, this, this. What happened to the brush knee? The brush knee sort of is an afterthought, or not even a thought at all, because you know that you have to do this, and the hand is dangled here. So you don't want to do that. From here, step brush knee. In fact, this helps you, because it says, if this is going this way, what does the other part of the body have to do? Stay this way? No. They all help you in concert. And the function from a martial arts standpoint is you've got to protect yourself before you get access to your opponent. Protect yourself. Brush whatever he's coming toward you. Brush it away. And meanwhile, you're getting your offense into position. Brush the knee. See? Brush the knee. Continue to brush the knee, and you strike off. Okay? The movement here, some people, when it comes to getting yourself cocked up, this hand is staying here. Oh, I've got to get it back up here. Bring it. It's moving. Everybody's moving. Otherwise, what happens is, oh yeah, I got to get back down here. So think about that. No part of your body is, quote, unemployed when you're performing an act. And it's your job to figure out, how do I address the activity which seems less obvious? Because it's already caught your eye to do this or to do this. If you're warding off, it's not just warding off. Two hands are working. Okay? This hand is potentially blocking, but it's getting into position. So I'm going to come forward and I'm going to round his arm and I'm going to grab him. So push him away so he's away from you, and you can see what's going on over here. But you're also, if he happens to be wanting to punch you, kick you, you can practice this. And then you've got him where you want him. Well, you want him. You've pushed him away, but he hasn't gone away far enough to stay out of trouble. Then you're in contact, and you know different parts of his body, and just happens maybe one of his arms are like that. So you switch around, grab the arm right here, and you come forward and you grab his wrist and you pull him down. You don't just pull down this way, you turn. Just imagine what you're doing to the guy's elbow. It's going to be stretched out this way, and you're going to turn him because you're turning him. Ward off, turn. See how my hand goes? Although she tells you just to do this, that's a stylized. But if you say you're really going to use it for action, ward off, grab, turn. This is coming down, and this is doing, I'm sorry, not this way, it's turning this way. That will turn the joint, straighten your elbow, and it doesn't bend too well that way. But those are the applications. But remember, at this stage, you know what the obvious one part of the movement that you see, and you're going to address that. It's almost automatic. Look for the portion that's not so obvious. The brush knee or ward off, okay? Stay flat on your feet, bend your knees.
It's important to do the movements correctly, and what can help is that you create images in your mind as to what you're doing, and that will come over time. But rather than be oblivious to where the movement comes from, since all of Tai Chi is based on martial arts, but now turned into a meditative dance routine. So I guess what Ken's trying to say is that if you can have an ideal world, you will not just look only at that forward hand, but you will also look at the hand or the whole body as to what each limb or thing is doing simultaneously to get that blow out or to get that force out. So we talk about, in a general way, opposites attract, yin and yang. So one comes out, one comes in. And there are many, many ways of approaching a discipline through martial arts, through me, and then yet we can decorate it a little bit more and add more stuff to it. We could also say that the other hand is a counterbalance hand, and what is it doing here? It's not going to sleep like he says. We didn't cover that. Lots of people will then look, like he says, at the outward hand, and then they forget about this guy. But this is the guy that keeps you erect and keeps you in good form, keeps you in the best optimal position where your energy can flow. But once it goes to sleep, the energy just went stripped down there and nothing coming through the system, holding you so that you are in good balance, in strong, sturdy, secure position. So oftentimes I refer this hand, because we didn't really talk about it. So don't, when we fill it with detail, I still want you to get the feeling that the power of the hips and waist after you multitask brings you around. And how did I finish it off? I turn my hips and waist. The energy simultaneously comes through the back of my foot, turn my hips and waist, and comes down. I'm secure now, okay? You could come here, Sheila could come here and push me, and perhaps I would still keep my stance. But if this guy goes down and she pushes me from this, I have nothing secure here. So I often refer to this hand as holding another ball. You don't want it to go to sleep.
It's all been worked out for people that want to fight, but it's worked out so we can use the same paradigm for our body improvement, both physically and mentally. It's, when you do the movements in the proper way, you will get the benefits that martial artists get in terms of staying in balance and delivering as much energy as they can in a concerted way. And of course, you're going to move your muscles that you may or may not have moved before. I remember one of our longtime students when he first started, after the first day, he said, "Hey, is your body supposed to hurt the next day?" And I said, "It probably does, because you're moving something that you've never moved before. And your body is telling you, I never knew that was there, but the next day you do."
Okay, good. And just to add something, we're here to strengthen our core. So if we only look at where the forward hand goes and forget about this guy that's coming out and forget about this guy, we're not engaging our core. Anybody could just go like this, right? It's only having to do with very little upper shoulder, but mainly this forearm here and the wrist and the fingers. So you want to always engage the core, okay? All right, 5 minutes. Any questions first? Any questions? So what I want to do now is do the 10 form again, okay? 10 form, and let's see how all our movements are put together. Okay, let's have fun. Let's relax, let's calm down, let's center ourselves, let's use our core. Commencing form, shift weight to the right, open, 50-50, hands rotate, take a deep breath in as we elevate both hands. Shoulder level, push down the water, make yourself small. Flex your knee. Left hand remains in the middle, right hand is higher, open to the ceiling. Watch that back hand come to the ear. Turn your head and neck. Meet in the center with both hands. Repulse of the monkey, pushing and pulling him. Center, left hand higher, open the front hand to the ceiling. Watch the back hand to the ear. Turn the head and neck. Meet in the center. Repulse the monkey. T-stance. Right hand higher, left hand to the shoulder. We're going to multitask to brush our knee all together. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist fully to brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Twist, step. T-stance, set it up correctly. All together, multitask. Turn the hips and waist, move the energy, brush knee. Sit back, sit down. Twist, step. Hold your ball on a T-stance. We're going to part the wild horse's mane. Step out, bottom hand advances, turn the hips and waist, go up the horse's mane. Sit back and sit down. Twist step. Root down, T-stance, hold your ball for better centering. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances to go up the horse's mane. Cloud hands. Flip the forward hand, no longer see the palm. Join it with the back hand. We're at 3 o'clock and we'll work to get to 9 o'clock. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, 12 o'clock. Pivot with your left heel, go out to the 9 o'clock. 2 things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. Use your hips and waist to get to 12, continually to get to 3. Flip the hands, open the feet. 12 o'clock. 9 o'clock, only one thing happens. Flip the hands. Use your hips and waist to get out to 3. Here it is. 2 things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock. 2 things happen at 9. Ready? Flip hands, open. 12 o'clock. But at 3 o'clock, only one thing happens. Cloud hands ends and turns us into a what? Shift weight to the left. Right hand comes up, right foot comes up, golden cockerel. Down, shift weight to the right, left foot comes up, left hand comes up, push down, push up. Down, 50-50, shift weight to the left, right hand on the outside, right foot getting ready to come up, and kick out right. Down, shift weight to the right, left hand on the outside of the cross, left foot coming up, kick out left. Holding our ball on a T stance, we're going to the right to forearm our opponent. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances to push out your opponent. Turn your hips and waist, reposition your hands. Grasp the bird's tail. Turn at the hips and waist to look back. Contact, turn again at the hips and waist, push the energy through from the center. Separate the hands, roll back and sit down. Spiral up and lunge forward. Sit back, sit down, twist step. You're going to hold your ball for better centering on a T stance. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances to ward off your opponent. Push him out. Turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail. Contact, turn, push, separate, roll back, sit down, spiral up and lunge forward. Apparently closing, twist step, open twist, in pivot. Embrace with the right hand inside the cross. Shift your weight over. Rotate on your wrists so that the palms are facing you so that you could bring the tiger closer to your chest. Push them out. Separate the energy. Close your forearm. Drop the shoulders, tuck the elbows, flex the knees. Gravity brings you back all the way home. In form. Shift weight to the right. Open. 50-50. Hands rotate. Take a deep breath in as we elevate both hands. Shoulder level. Push down the water. Make yourself small. Flex your knee. Left hand remains in the middle. Right hand is higher. Open to the ceiling. Watch that back hand come to the ear. Turn your head and neck. Meet in the center with both hands, repulse of the monkey, pushing and pulling him. Center, left hand higher, open the front hand to the ceiling, watch the back hand to the ear, turn the head and neck, meet in the center, repulse the monkey. T stance, right hand higher, left hand to the shoulder. We're going to multitask to brush our knee all together. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist fully to brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step. T stance, set it up correctly. All together, multitask. Turn the hips and waist, move the energy, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step. Hold your ball on a T stance. We're going to part the wild horse's mane. Step out, bottom hand advances, turn the hips and waist, go up the horse's mane. Sit back and sit down, twist step. Root down, T stance, hold your ball for better centering. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances to go up the horse's mane. Cloud hands. Flip the forward hand, no longer see the palm. Join it with the back hand. We're at 3 o'clock and we'll work to get to 9 o'clock. Sit back, sit down, twist step, 12 o'clock. Pivot with your left heel, go out to the 9 o'clock. Two things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. Use your hips and waist to get to 12, continually to get to 3. Flip the hands, open the feet, 12 o'clock. 9 o'clock, only one thing happens. Flip the hands. Use your hips and waist to get out to 3. Here it is. Two things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock. Two things happen at 9. Ready? Flip hands, open. 12 o'clock. But at 3 o'clock, only one thing happens. Cloud hands ends and turns us into a what? Shift weight to the left. Right hand comes up, right foot comes up. Golden cockerel. Down, shift weight to the right. Left foot comes up, left hand comes up. Push down, push up. Down, 50-50. Shift weight to the left. Right hand on the outside, right foot getting ready to come up and kick out right. Down, shift weight to the right. Left hand on the outside of the cross, left foot coming up, kick out left. Holding our ball on a T stance, we're going to the right to forearm our opponent. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances to push out your opponent. Turn your hips and waist, reposition your hands. Grasp the bird still. Turn at the hips and waist to look back. Contact, turn again at the hips and waist, push the energy through from the center. Separate the hands, roll back and sit down. Spiral up and lunge forward. Sit back, sit down, twist step. You're going to hold your ball for better centering on a T stance. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances to ward off your opponent. Push him out. Turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird still. Contact, turn, push, separate, roll back, sit down, spiral up and lunge forward. Apparently closing, twist step, open twist, in pivot. Embrace with the right hand inside the cross. Shift your weight over. Rotate on your wrists so that the palms are facing you so that you could bring the tiger closer to your chest. Push them out. Separate the energy. Close your forearm. Drop the shoulders, tuck the elbows, flex the knees. Gravity brings you back all the way home. Okay. So with that, hopefully you've brought a little sensation of relaxation, maybe a sense of peacefulness. Okay? And that's Tai Chi. Okay? Good job. Okay, see you next time.